right, you were bound for hell. That to write from left to right, you were bound for hell. So going to school was not accepted. They said, no. But today, they also started accepting their own schools all over. Yes. So that's one of the impacts.
So even the adversaries, the enemies themselves learnt from the pioneer Ahmadis, for that matter.
Yes.
It's once again, one lacks words to express what the pioneer Ahmadis went through and the extent to which their sacrifices, impacted not only the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, but also the non-Ahmadis. In fact, that is the reason why in Ghana here, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is the leading Muslim sect as far as education is concerned, healthcare is concerned, and further than that. But Muallim Hakim Saab, all these sacrifices that the pioneer Ahmadis, made, the challenges they went through, the persecution, how do they serve as a motivation to the young generation? And going into the next 100 years from now, how should these inspire us?
Yeah. The motivation, what I will add is, like down south here, no Muslim had opened a school. Yes. So Mawvi Hakim came and he told us that he has opened a primary school in Solpong. He would like to open a secondary school in the central part, that is Kumasi. And people carried boats from Adansi, about 40 kilometers long, to Kumasi, to build the Kumasi Ahmadiyya Secondary School. So in Ghana, at first, if you hear any Muslim who participated in government affairs, that person is from Kumasi Ahmadiyya Muslim Secondary School. Yeah. So it has done a lot for Ghana's education level in Ghana. Yeah, Ahmadiyya has done a lot. So Kumasi Secondary School is one of the pioneer schools built in early 50s, which has made this education more profitable to not only Ahmadis, but Christians and the rest. They appreciate what we have done.
Even though we are, moving towards the close of this short discussion, but I wish I could keep you more, but I still would take your last words to your words of encouragement to the youth, to Ghanaians, and to Ahmadis who are watching us from all around the world, how these stories should inspire us going forward.
I will advise that, you see, in those days, because of the small numbers of the Ahmadis, even some members or other Muslims were sort of feeling shy to identify themselves as Ahmadis. So the problem was that anytime we go to some places, people don't like to come out openly. But now it has come that anything you are talking about in Ghana, an Ahmadi is involved. Anything good, of course.
That's true.
So that is part of the encouragement. You see, as we are saying, they said Imam Sele wouldn't get there. Now his direct grandson is running the administration in Wa. And so many things. There are a lot of things that in those days, if you wanted something, because they didn't have crutches. Yes. The only crutch said he wouldn't interpret for us. Yes. But they saw us in all spheres of life. So they also started opening their own schools. And now, you see, it's benefiting the society. They have doctors, they have nurses, they have engineers, and whatnot. Yes. And most of these people are friends of Ahmadis, who are not Ahmadis themselves. They identify a lot of Ahmadis, and they follow Ahmadis. Yes.
Muallim Hakim Saab, just in 30 seconds, your final words.
30 seconds. What our forefathers have done, we have to follow. In Kumasi, there was a man, he didn't know anything. He didn't attend any school. But he went to a carpenter's shop, bought a piece of plywood, took to somebody who knows something, and then it was written, the Mahdi has come, or the Messiah has come. And he hanged it on his chest, roaming about in the streets. You will meet him. Who is Mahdi? He said, go to Asafo, Ahmadiyya Mission. He is there. You go, the movies will take you on. Through that, many people accepted Ahmadiyya. They didn't know anything.
That was a very smart way of doing tabligh.
Yeah.
He writes on a cardboard, hangs it on his chest, that the Messiah has come, Jesus has come. People meet him, they're surprised. What do you mean by that? Then he directs them to the missionary, to the mission house for further deliberations. In fact, all these sacrifices have indeed yielded so much results. As we see today, the number of people gathered here for this convention alone, numerous number of them, and you see, you know, just have a feel of the numbers gathered here. In the documentary we'll be presenting to you right after this discussion on tahajjud prayers at the Jalsa Ghana. You have a look at that and you appreciate just how much impact these have caused. Stay with us. We will be back inshallah with more programs. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
The tahajjud prayer.
Ghana Jama Sarve, Ghana Jama Sarve, Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary. Ghana Jama Sarve, Ghana Jama Sarve, Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary. Ghana Jama Sarve, Ghana Jama Sarve, Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary. Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary.
ومن الليل فاسجد له وسبحه ليلا طويلا.
And during the night, prostrate thyself before him, and extol his glory for a long part of the night.
As the night darkens and the world surrenders to sleep, an amazing scene unfolds at the Jalsa Salana Ghana 2024. Under the gentle clock of the night, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Ghana arises, heads bowed, all prostrate to the Creator of the universe. These are the Ahmadis engaged in the tahajjud prayers, a voluntary prayer offered in the silence of the night. Though not mandatory, it holds immense significance, a beacon of worship cherished by the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the promised Messiah ﷺ. Thousands across the nation, unified by faith, are seeking forgiveness, not just for themselves, but all of humanity. In this sacred act, they reaffirm their commitment to God and His creation, laying the foundation for the 3 days of Jalsa Salana Ghana that have begun with these tahajjud prayers. After the tahajjud prayers and the Fajr Salat, there was a dars that was delivered.
My name is Aloysio de Pina Ramos. I am from São Tomé and Príncipe, and I have accepted Messiah of the age.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dani. I'm from Madagascar. I have accepted the Imam of the age.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Issa Amadou. I am from Niger. I have accepted the Messiah of the age.
Ghana Jama Sarve, Ghana Jama Sarve, Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary. Ghana Jama Sarve, Ghana Jama Sarve, Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary. Ghana Jama Sarve, Ghana Jama Sarve, Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary. Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, our cherished viewers. You're still watching MTA Africa, and we are still bringing you the 91st annual Jalsa Salana of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community here in Ghana. this occasion also is where we are marking the 100 years of Islamic revival in Ghana. And this also is our topic to be delivered by our main speaker today. And we'll also be having the former president of the Republic of Ghana, who will also be addressing us. Mobi Habib Saab.
Yes. So the former president, just like the guest of honor we had yesterday, is also vying for presidency this same year, towards the end of the year. And he will also be visiting us to, celebrate with us, the achievements of the Jamaat. So we are looking up to that, of course, looking up to see what he has to share with the Jamaat as well. But Mwalim Saab, just before you stepped in the studio, I had a discussion with two prominent members of the Jamaat. Mwalim Abdul Hakim Saab, one of our senior missionaries, retired, and also Al-Hajj Mumin Sahib, and we were discussing about the pioneer missionaries, pioneer Ahmadis, and their sacrifices, what they had to go through, and the impact of the sacrifices they made, in Ghana, as a whole. And they mentioned something very interesting about a young man whose mode of tabligh was, he writes, "The Messiah has come" on a cardboard, hangs it on his chest, and is moving about in town. He didn't know anything, he didn't know how to recite the Quran, he didn't have any knowledge. And when he's met, somebody asks him, "What do you mean by Jesus has come?" He directs them to the missionary. So this is what some of our forefathers did, so that Ahmadiyya, spread throughout throughout Ghana as it has today.
Yeah, I think making a contrast to the sacrifice and the struggles our fathers have gone through till this time as we have Islam today, you could see that over the last 100 years, Allah has really been very merciful to us. Allah has really afforded us a lot of things that have made our work easier. Because if you look at today, when we even have technology, and to talk about what even we are trying to do, it is nothing compared to what our fathers do. I remember there are a group of young men, when Ahmadiyya started in one of our villages, they will have to just walk from where they are to about 5 miles just to go and learn Surah Al-Fatiha. And when it was so difficult, they have to learn a verse for a day, and it will have to take them 7 days for them to be able to even learn Surah Al-Fatiha. But today, you go on YouTube and everything is very easy for you.
Readily available, you can easily learn.
Today, you don't even walk so much, but in the days of our fathers, you could walk to many places. And the message of Ahmadiyya, when it got to Ghana, it sounded, as at that time, so strange to the people. Even to the extent that some of our preachers, they call them Jesus Nenkola, meaning the children of Jesus. Meanwhile, they are expecting Jesus to come from the sky. But why are we now coming to say that we are Muslims and we are still talking about Jesus, the second coming of Jesus? We already claim that we've seen him. So at that time, telling people about Islam Ahmadiyya, which is coming in the last day, to reform and revive and to bring the pristine beauty that the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam brought. People hear the message and it's like, oh, even though we are expecting it, but not this time. Or whatever you are teaching us or you are telling us about Islam Ahmadiyya, that is bringing sanity to the society. It's quite strange. And today in Ghana, if you tell people about Jamaat Islam Ahmadiyya, they said, is it the educationist group? Is it the charity group?
Yes.
And for some people, unfortunately, on their side, out of ignorance, that is how they come to know you. And I think our fathers and the Jamaat as a whole have really gone on a very long journey. Even today, they are still doing more, but yet we believe that Allah, who has taken care of us in the last 100 years, will continue to take care of us, so that our children who will come, they will also come to meet a legacy, so that the future of Islam Ahmadiyya will continue, even though we've done the revival for over 100 years. But I think there are still more that we will do, and Allah will give us those
Exactly. Exactly, that is very true. The fact that the Jamaat has made so much impact, in Ghana. You mentioned education, you mentioned healthcare. In fact, in healthcare, the blood bank is here, And the Jamaat is the leading Muslim, the leading religious community that donates most, blood in Ghana, for that matter.
Talking about the leading Muslim community, I think it is the harvest time for the Ghana National Blood Bank. This is their harvest time. Exactly. And this is where they get the highest number of pints of blood in the whole year.
Yes.
Even though there are other donors, there are other institutions that organize and donate. But when it comes to Jamaat Ahmadiyya and our Jalsa, that is exactly, so they even have it as part of their annual calendar.
Yes.
Meanwhile, this is supposed to be a very big feature in our calendar.
So viewers, there is so much to be inspired, so much to be encouraged going into the next 100 years of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Ghana. And staying, still on the sacrifices of the pioneer Ahmadis. You made mention of how difficult it was then for them to acquire knowledge. It took them a week or more to learn just Surah Al-Fatiha. I just remember an incident in that regard. The fact that from somewhere around Otuam in the central region, they would come to Ekrofu to learn from the missionary, and the one verse of Surah Al-Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. 3 people would have to divide that. One memorizes Alhamdu, another Lillahi, and the third memorizes Rabbil Alameen, the most intelligent, of course. So these sacrifices were really made. Viewers, at this point, we'll be taking our cameras outside to show you pictures, live pictures of the arrival of the Amir and missionary in charge arriving at the Jalsa Ghana. Viewers, stay with us, keep enjoying the Jalsa. We'll be bringing you the first session today. Of course, when that is done, there will be Juma as well as the live sermon of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, and the program will continue from there. So stay tuned and enjoy the pictures.
Takbir. Ghana. Ghana. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana. Islam Ahmadiyya. Islam Ahmadiyya. Islam Ahmadiyya. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Nare Takbir.
Wonom ebe ma odo sonko abeda wonom eniwo
Nare Takbir. Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ghulam Ahmed Ki. Ghulam Ahmed Ki. Alhaj Maulana Salih Amir Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana. Amir Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana. Nare Takbir. Nare Takbir. Nare Takbir. Majlis Ansarullah Ghana. Majlis Ansarullah Ghana. Majlis Ghulam Al-Ahmadiyya Ghana. Majlis Ghulam Al-Ahmadiyya Ghana. Wakil Tabshir. Wakil Tabshir. Nare Takbir. Nare Takbir. Lajna Ima ila Ghana. Lajna Ima ila Ghana. Lajna Ima ila Ghana. Nare Takbir. Nare Takbir. Nare Takbir. Nare Takbir. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana. Jalsa Salana Ghana. Jalsa Salana Ghana. Takbir. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah Rasulullah.
Muhammadur Rasulullah
sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Oh, hini biarani wo jidalan kwa Muhammadu Yanas Mafuampa.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We will entreat each and everyone to take his seat or his or her seat. All those on the stage, under the wings, under the general canopy, please let's get seated so that we can proceed. Alhamdulillah, another beautiful day, a very blessed day, Friday, has found us alive. And we would want to continue from where we left off yesterday. Today being Friday, and we know that Juma is also ahead of us. We are very much aware that our guest of honor for today is on his way. But because it's a Friday, we want to start so that we don't eat into Juma. So on that basis, we would like to invite one of our brothers who works with the MTA, Wahab Adam Studio, Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Accra, by the name Umar Farouk Abdul Hakim, to come and recite a portion from the Holy Quran so that we can commence today's proceedings. So if Brother Umar Farouk is here, please kindly come upstage and discharge your duty.
Basara kasa bawone de wiasia yezi minianom Quran rakasa aya humtene atongo ya rakasa nosra yezi wakin kan Qurana aya mo biaran kasa oya mere kasa abodin yina wantezi Oya mere kase abodi yina hum yekom obasere kasa bawone da wiasia yedi minianom Quran rakasa aya huntene otogo ya mere kasa osura yedi osandaminti womwe Wake kana one to Fumobiarante, Oyamene Sampacurana, one way, one way, one
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض، الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز. وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. Translation. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth glorifies Allah, the sovereign, the holy, the mighty, the wise. He it is who has raised among the unlettered people a messenger from among themselves, who recites unto them his signs and purifies them, and teaches them the book and wisdom, although they had been before in manifest misguidance. And among others from among them who have not yet joined them, he is the mighty, the wise. That is Allah's grace. He bestows it on whom he pleases, and Allah is the master of immense grace. This is taken from Quran chapter 62, Surah Al-Jumu'ah, verse 1 to 5. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
beautiful melodious recitation will be followed by a recitation of an Urdu poem to be presented by Abdul Aziz, who is also a student of Jamiatul Mubashirin, Ghana. If Brother Abdul Aziz is available, please come to the stage.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is an Urdu poem written by the promised Messiah alayhi salam, showing his love towards Islam and the founder of Islam, Hazrat Muhammadul Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Here is the English translation of the poem. We wearied our mind by searching all around. No faith did we find like the faith of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We have experimented with Islam by our own self. It is light, pure light. Awake and see as we announce. Come, all people. It is here you will find the light of God. Lo, we told you a way to satisfy yourself. May thy peace and blessings be on Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, son and. From him we obtained this light, O God Almighty. They call us disbeliever, pagan, and antichrist. What names are we called for the sake of our people? We are elect of men through thee, O elect of messengers. We moved our own step forward with thy stride. Let alone the humans, even angels, all extol thy praise, only what we have sung. Now the poem. Har taraf fikr ko dora ke takaya हर तरफ फिक्र को दौड़ा के थकाया हमने कोई दीदी Muhammad सा न पाया हमने कोई दीदी ने Muhammad सा न पाया हर तरफ फिक्र को हमने इस्लाम को खुद तजुर्बा करके देखा हमने इस्लाम को ke deka nur hai nur nur hai nur utho dekho sunaya हमने आओ लोगों के यही नूर खुदा पाओगे आओ लोगों के यही नूर खुदा पाओगे लो तुम्हें तौर तसल्ली का बताया हमने हर तरह फिक्र को दौड़ा के टकाया हमने मुस्तफा पर तेरा बेहद हो सलाम और रहमत मुस्तफा पर तेरा बेहद हो सलाम और रहमत उससे नूर उससे नूर लिया बार खुदाया हमने काफिरों मुल्हिदों दाज्जाल हमें कहते हैं काफिरों मुल्हिदों दाज्जाल हमें कहते हैं नाम क्या क्या गम में मिल्लत में रखाया हमने नाम क्या क्या गम में मिल्लत में रखाया हमने हर तरह फिक्र को हम हुए खैर उमम तुझसे ही खैर रसूल हम हुए खैर उमम तुझसे ही खैर रसूल तेरे बढ़ने से कदम आगे बढ़ाया हमने तेरे बढ़ने से कदम आगे बढ़ाया हमने आदमी ज़ाद तो क्या चीज़ फरिश्ते भी तमाम चीज फरिश्ते भी तमाम मदह में तेरी वो गाते हैं जो गाया हमने मदह में तेरी वो गाते हैं जो गाया हमने हर तरह फिक्र को दौड़ा के थकाया हमने कोई दीने मुहम्मद सा न पाया हमने कोई दीने मुहम्मद सा न पाया हमने अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू
Rasul Akram Mustafa, Nabi Akdas Mustafa, Islam Ahmadiyyat, Ghulam Marki, Nare Takbir.
We are most grateful to our brother Abdul Aziz for the very melodious recitation, and we've come to a very, very important item on the program. We chose for the celebration of our centenary, in that respect, the centenary Jalsa, a theme that reflects on the fact that we are reviewing our 100th year of existence in this country, a century of Islamic revival in Ghana. This, each and every Ahmadi must be prepared to listen with rapt attention and grasp as much as you can for your own spiritual elevation. You will come to terms with the sacrifices that have been made for us to be enjoying the blessings as we see now. And so it is indeed an important lecture or a speech which is to be delivered by no less a person than the Naibamir to Al-Hajj, Suleiman Ahmed Anderson. But before I invite him to the podium, I would want us to settle with a song of praise so that by the time he comes to the podium, we are very much, or we would be very much prepared to listen to every bit of the address he is to deliver. So I invite our praise singers to give us one very inspiring song of praise.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad wa barik wa salim. Maza yanwabo, maza yanwabo, mahadan wabo, adasama munjenini. Maza yanwabo, maza yanwabo, mahadan wabo, adasama munjenini. Maza yanwabo, maza yanwabo, yadi yanwabo, adasama munjenini. Maza yanwabo, maza yanwabo, mahadan wabo, adasama munjenini. Imahadino munjenini, munjenindo, munjenini. Imahadina munjenini, munjenindo, munjenini. Yadiye munjenini, munjenindo, munjenini. Yadiye munjenini, munjenindo, munjenini. Ana mahadina munjenini, ana nawabana munjenini. From Mezaye, ana nawabana, ana mahadina munjenini, ana nawabana. washana hum kwamate ona na wakana bible wakate ona na wabana quran wake ona na wabana ambada mahedano munyaninde ana mahedano munyaninde mahedi wadene hoda se da ansana oreba mahedano wadene hoda se da ansana oreba mahedi wadene hoda se da ansana oreba mahedi wadene hoda se da ansana oreba ebenaso amba waba ebenaso amba waba wajene hoda se da ansana areba bahadina wajene hoda se da ansana areba mahadi wajene hoda se da ansana areba mahadi wajene hoda se da ansana areba eminaso amba waba eminaso amba waba.
So on this note, with utmost humility, I would like to invite the Naib Amir to the podium, Al-Hajj Suleiman Ahmed Anderson, to address us on a century of Islamic revival in Ghana.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'd, fa'awzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Amir Chairman, all distinguished guests, brethren in Islam, once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I deem this a great honor and a privilege to have this unique opportunity at this centenary Jalsa to present to you a speech on the theme, a century of Islamic revival in Ghana, emphasis in Ghana. It offers me a profound pleasure to be in this position. Amir Chairman, religions are always revived through divine intervention. A reformer is sent by Allah Almighty to turn the people away from materialism and return them to their Creator. Such a reformer invariably calls for immense sacrifices in the name of God. He invites people to toil and sweat, to persevere and be patient, and informs them that those who seek to live must be prepared to part with their lives. He prepares them for a long and painful struggle against blind opposition and persecution at the hands of those whom they love and endeavor to save. Indeed, this is the only real eternal philosophy of religious revival. I must mention, though, that all sects of Muslims are not in unison on this subject. A large number of Muslims believe that a fundamental change has come about in the form of religious revival. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community, on the other hand, believes that this eternal process is constant and unchanged. It is for this reason that we affirm our belief in the Quranic prophecy mentioned in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, Quran chapter 62, verse 3 to 4. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم, which translates, He it is who has raised among the unlettered people a messenger from among themselves, who recites unto them his signs and purifies them and teaches them the book and wisdom, although they had been before in manifest misguidance. And among others from among them who have not yet joined them, he is mighty, the wise. Amir Chairman, the renaissance of Islam and Islamic revival, according to this divine prophecy, was destined in the 14th Islamic century at the time of the promised Messiah and Mahdi alayhi salam. This prophecy and the duties therein, according to Ahmadiyya view, were fulfilled in the person of Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmed Qadiani alayhi salam. He was the long-awaited Messiah and the promised Mahdi, and he founded the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in 1889 under divine guidance. In 1891, he announced the foundation of 5 branches to cover the promised development and revival of Islam, but time will not allow me to go into that. In that announcement, however, he said in part, and I quote, by sending this humble person for the reformation of the world, in order to draw the world towards truth and righteousness, the Almighty has divided Islam into many branches. All these are necessary in the eyes of God Almighty and the reformation for which he has intended. Ruhani Kazani, volume 3, pages 11 to 12. The introduction of this divine community of Ahmadiyyat in Ghana can be traced to a sequence of events. Although there were reports of small Muslims in southern Gold Coast in the early 19th century, Islam is said to have properly commenced in the region in 1885 among the Fanti people under the leadership of Benjamin Sam and Chief Adwejir Apa. At that time, Muslim clerics from the northern region continued to supervise the growing Muslims in the south. It is reported that northern clerics expressed strong disapproval of a secular learning school which had been established by Benjamin Sam and Adwejir Apa because, in their view, there were some customs which were considered un-Islamic. This was a major cause of disagreement until the advent of Ahmadiyyat and its introduction of secular education in Ghana or in the Gold Coast in 1923. The perception before was that Muslims were against secular education and that Islam was an inferior religion. This perception was influenced by the fact that people known to be Muslims at that time were mainly farmhands, laborers, petty traders, and watchmen. But a little over 100 years ago, a group of anti-Muslims, under some divine inspiration, established contact with the then Khalifa of the Messiah through an address obtained from a copy of the Review of Religions magazine. It all started when one Adwejir Apa, who had become a Muslim somewhere around 1876, was inspired by a Fanti Muslim's dream. In fact, that dream was by Yusuf Nyakum, of performing salat with white people. And through that, they learned of the Ahmadiyya community from an Afro-Brazilian Muslim merchant, Abdurrahman Pedro, in the Gold Coast port town of Saltpond. The end result was that they wrote requesting the Khalifa to send a missionary to the then Gold Coast, now Ghana, which the Khalifa obliged. Chief Adwejir Apa and his people were requested to make financial contributions towards the passage of the missionary. It is reported that they contributed over £300 at that time to enable the missionary to be sent to the Gold Coast. The Khalifa at the time then sent a devoted disciple of the promised Messiah alayhi salam, for the purpose of establishing a branch of the Jamaat of the promised Messiah in the Gold Coast. His name was Alhaj Maulana Rahim Nayal. Maulana Nayal was generally sent to West Africa in February 1921. However, from Sierra Leone, he started his journey on 21st February 1921 on a steamed ship and landed at the port of Sorpon on Monday 20. Has entered his room, and that's the room of his Chief Mahdi Apa. And this single incident, in my humble opinion, was the very beginning of the century-long reawakening of Islam in this country. In the very first meeting on the 11th of March 1921, Chief Mahdi Apa sat in a circle of noblemen wearing his traditional dress and holding a staff, and other imams were all with him. In his speech, Chief Mahdi Apa was reported to have said, and I quote, "I became a Muslim 45 years ago. I only know Allahu Akbar, and this is what other Muslims with me know. We are ignorant. We have no full knowledge of Islam. White men came here to teach us Christianity. I am old and worried that these Muslims with me will remain ignorant after me. And I thank God that you have come here into my life. And now these Muslims are entrusted to you to teach them English, teach them Arabic, and teach them faith and religion." Maulana Nayal, wearing his green turban in response, stated, I quote, "Allah Almighty has invented your provision and the community who offers living Islam. My eyes saw the promised Messiah alayhi salam as modesty. My ears heard the words delivered from his holy mouth. My hands touched him. So blessed to you that Almighty God help you. Now, inshallah, we will do the work of education and training of your people as you desire." This message is still valid today to all missionaries who are within us. Maulana Nayal, in obedience to the Khalifa, had left the comfort of his home to carry the message of the Messiah thousands of miles away to the Gold Coast and West Africa, in fulfillment of the prophecy to the promised Messiah alayhi salam, which translates, "I shall cause thy message to reach the corners of the earth." That heavenly light, which was lit on the hills of Ekunfi Ekrofo, marked the beginning of a new dawn in the history of Islam in this country. This light blossomed and spread very fast to the length and breadth of this country, and is the reason why today we are here, formally celebrating a century of transformation of lives and the impact of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Ghana. Having established the
Centenary Jalsa Salana Ghana.
Having established the Ahmadiyya movement in the Gold Coast, Maulana, who was popularly referred to as Reverend Nayal due to his missionary activities, finally left the country in December 1921 and was replaced by the first permanent missionary, Alhaj Maulana Fazlur Rahman Hakim. These researchers like Samwini and Fisher have published records on it. Fisher in 1963, page 118, Samwini in 2006, page 88. But at this point in time, the Fanti Muslims were no longer interested to remain under the spiritual guidance of the northern clerics, and despite resistance from these clerics, the Fanti Muslims had converted en masse after a series of lectures by Maulana A.R. Nayal in March 1921, following which an oath of allegiance was held, giving immediate rise to the Ahmadiyya movement in the Gold Coast. After the arrival of Maulana Nayal in Sorpon, the blessings of God Almighty appeared so abundantly that in a short period of only a few months, a pure change appeared in the people. And in his own words, that's Maulana Nayal's own words, he wrote, "It had been 7 months since I, as a newly arrived passenger, disembarked from the boat, battered by the insolent waves of the sea on the inhospitable shores of Sorpon. At that time, there was only one person at the beach of Sorpon with a heart of love, and the other was present in khaki uniform, apparently a policeman, to obey the orders of the government. There were Muslims in the country, but little better than idolaters. But it is God's grace that now reforms have started even when I have not spoken. He added that sincerity of the Jamaat is such that my words are correct interpretations of God's commandment for them. And this is what I was told everywhere I go. Yes, we will do what you teach us. In prayers, hands have started tied automatically like mine. And the sincerity of heart of these simple Ahmadis is that I offered Sunnah prayers in the mosque, and the whole Jamaat stood with me. And even though I did not say the takbir, but they watched my movement and equally bowed and prostrated like congregational prayers. These results of the 7 months training are God's grace. You can find this from the biography of Maulana Abdul Rahim Nayal by Nimatullah Basharat, page 193 to 197.
Abdul Rahim Nayal.
He established the various centers or circles, which today we call circuits, of the Ahmadiyya Jamaat in the Gold Coast, and inaugurated the mission house, and at the same time inaugurated a preaching class in the hall of the mission house. He himself taught the Holy Quran, he taught the Hadith and Arabic language, and started teaching the subject containing Ahmadiyya beliefs. So he began a wide series of visits to connect the Jamaat outside Sopon and preached in new places. It is on record that he visited 22 places in a month, including Esiam, Mando, Senyabreku, Uniba, Edukrom, Cape Coast, Sekendi, Kumasi, and various other places. After completing the administrative division, he finally left the Gold Coast on 14th December 1921. But having taken over from Maulana Nayar, Molvi F.R. Hakim started the first elementary school of the Jamaat in Sopon in 1923. Further primary schools were opened in a number of towns and villages, including Esiam, Potin, Swedro. In 1927, leading up to the 1950s, an increased missionary outlook was adopted, which facilitated its spread, that is the spread of the movement among the Fanti people in the south, through Asin and to the south of Kumasi, and later to the north in Wa. According to researcher Samwini, the rapid expansion of the Ahmadiyya movement posed a threat to the very existence of Christianity and the Sunni order in the Gold Coast. For the first decade, the Ahmadiyya movement had only a single missionary at any one time, supported by a Fanti interpreter. But during the 1920s, Maulana F.R. Hakim conducted open-air lectures across notable locations along the southern coast, something which was later widely adopted as public preaching under the name Ahmadiyya Muslim Preachers Association, popularly called AMPA. During the period of open lectures, Maulana F.R. Hakim, the impact of the Ahmadiyya community in the country was so strong that the movement was spreading like bushfire. As a result, there were resistance from some Muslim groups, and they began to call the Ahmadis some names in an unsuccessful effort of belittling them. For example, in the Akan areas, Ahmadis were called Hakimfo. In the north, they were referred to as Hakimawa. Little did they know that what they thought was derogatory was rather an honor and glorification, because the name emanated from Hakim, which is an attribute of God, meaning the wise or wisdom. No wonder they stopped without anybody forcing them. Significantly, a member of the Asante royal family in Adansi, Nana Abu Bakar Buatin, popularly known as Nana Sadiq Sirichi, who was an early convert, used his wealth, connections, and encouragement to expand the Ahmadiyya movement among the rural Asante Muslims who were similar to fellow Akan-speaking Fantis as being the recent converts. During the expansion of the Ahmadiyya movement in the villages south of Kumasi, a young Muslim scholar, Salih bin Hassan, encountered the Akan Ahmadi Muslims. Salih bin Hassan hailed from Wa, home to Muslim scholarly families, tracing their origin to the Mali Empire. The encounter resulted in Salih traveling to Solpon, and after lengthy discussions with Maulvi Nazir Ahmed Ali, and having been convinced, accepted the Ahmadiyya movement. Imam Salih and several young migrants returned to Wa with their newfound movement, but the elders of Wa were unmoved and threatened threatened their expulsion. Years of tense relationship between the majority Muslim community and the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Wa did not dissuade the latter from their views. Even during heightened conflict, Imam Salih managed to consolidate his movement in Wa and surrounding regions. The message of Ahmadiyya, which at that time centered on the second advent of Isa alayhi salam, the fact that he did not die on the cross, the fact that he did not physically ascend to heaven and cannot be the same person coming back as the Messiah, was strange to the Muslims. The Muslims considered these teachings as offensive to Islam, and as a result began to oppose the new movement. Opposition to the movement became severe in the north, especially in areas where Muslim populations were high, like Wa in the Upper West region. The hatred led them to hound Imam Salih out of his own hometown several times. Ahmadi Muslims in Wa were not allowed to go to marketplaces to trade or to buy necessities of life. They were not allowed to go to general public places to fetch water or even to go to their own farms to collect food. Babies were denied the care of their mothers because wives were taken away from their husbands because they have accepted a new movement. At some point in time, during the heightened opposition and oppression in Wa, Amir advises that we should remain patient. Our guest of honor is arriving and he's going out there to receive him. So let us remain patient and when necessary, respond to takbirs whilst the guest of honor arrives.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد وبارك وسلم آمين وانا وابا اندي من ما Kwenia Aya Mazaya Mahali Nawaba Jesus Christ baby wa Nur Muhammad bin Saleh Oije Amir Nur Muhammad bin Saleh Oije His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Oije His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Oije Ghana Ankodo Ghana Ankodo Ghana Ankodo Islam Ahmadiyya Ankodo Islam Ahmadiyya Ankodo Islam Ahmadiyya Ankodo Takbir
Amir Nur Muhammad bin Saleh, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, former President of Ghana, former President of Ghana, Excellency John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Ghana, Ghana, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa, Muhammadur Rasulullah, La ilaha Rasulullah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Please have your seats, please.
Fanga sokam banjenge sa sugu sokam jinma sokam lamu kokonanti jinne.
Please.
Mbuborin ya kaso jia sokam chen jinne okoko zugu.
All NDC activists here must remain contented with the fact that His Excellency is safer with us than with them. So it's in safe hands. Don't worry. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We have in our midst His Excellency, former President John Mahama, John Dramani Mahama, the former President of the Republic of Ghana, and who now is the presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress for our forthcoming elections in December. We extended our invitation to him. He is here with us. I want each and every one of us to compose him or herself, to listen to him when it comes to time for him to address us. Let's give him the assurance that we are more organized than even his party. And that we are in a better position to protect him than his party. And that we are very loyal citizens of Ghana. And that we honor him, we revere him greatly. So please, on this note, for and on behalf of all of you, I simply wish to welcome Your Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, the former President of the Republic of Ghana and now the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, and with him, his entourage, and all other activists of his party who are here in their numbers. I believe if we allowed them, they would have pushed us away and taken charge of proceedings, which indeed we have demonstrated to them that we will not allow it. It cannot happen, not here. So kindly remain seated. You will see him, you will hear him. But for you to enjoy and benefit from listening to him and hearing him and see him, you need to remain seated, cool, and calm. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.
Yes, we will see him and we will hear him. But before we see him and hear him, we will continue from where we left off, which is the Naiba Mitre who was delivering, Naiba Mir 2, Al-Hajj Suleiman Ahmed Anderson. He was delivering a speech on a very, very important topic, a century of Islamic revival in Ghana. And with the permission of the Amir, I would like to invite Naiba Mir to come and continue from where he left off.
Thank you very much, Amir Chairman and the General Secretary, for allowing me to continue with the speech I was reading. Now, during the expansion of the Ahmadiyya movement in the villages south of Kumasi, a young scholar, Salih bin Hassan, encountered Akan Ahmadi Muslims. Salih bin Hassan hailed from Wa, home to Muslim scholarly families, tracing their origin to the Mali Empire. The encounter resulted in Salih traveling to Sopon, and after a lengthy discussion with the then Amir, Maulvi Nazir Ahmed Ali, and having been convinced, accepted Ahmadiyyat. Imam Salih and several young migrants returned to Wa with their newfound movement, but the elders of Wa were unmoved and threatened their expulsion. Years of tense relationship between the majority Muslim community and the Ahmadiyya Muslim community did not dissuade the latter from their views. Even during the period of heightened conflict, Imam Salih managed to consolidate his new movement in Wa and surrounding regions. The message of Ahmadiyyat, which at the time centered on the second advent of Isa, the fact that he did not die on the cross, the fact that he did not physically ascend to heaven and cannot be the same person who will be coming back as the Messiah, were strange to the Muslims. The Muslims considered these teachings as offensive to Islam and as a result began to oppose the new movement. Opposition to the movement became severe in the north, especially in areas where Muslim populations were high, like Wa in the Upper West region. The hatred led them to hound Imam Salih out of his own hometown several times. Ahmadi Muslims in Wa were not allowed to go to the marketplaces to trade or to buy necessities of life. They were not allowed to go to the general public places, even to fetch water or to their own farms to collect food. And like I said, some of them were even deprived of their wives, and children and babies were deprived of the care of their mothers. At some point in time, during the heightened opposition and oppression in Wa, Hazrat Muslim Maud, the then Khalifa of the time, sent a historical message to Ghanaian Ahmadi Muslims and Ghanaians in general, which was published in the Review of Religions magazine in September 1955. Part of the message reads, and I quote, "You have been oppressed and ruled by others for a very long time. Rest assured that your glorious time is fast approaching. As far as Ahmadiyya goes, I assure you, that we, and when I say we, I mean myself and all the Ahmadis who follow me, consider all the people on earth as equal. All of us are equal and have the same powers. I assure you that during my lifetime, I'm not going to allow any Ahmadi to adopt the mistaken ideas as prevalent in the world. So go and prove yourself, true Ahmadis. Tell your brothers that you went to Pakistan and Rabwa and found that in Pakistan also there are brothers who feel for you and consider all Ahmadis as equal, and that you did not see Pakistanis, rather Africans in different colors. They are looking towards their African brothers as their own kids and kins. I am expecting the same sacrifices from Africans, and I ask you to preach and convey the message of Islam to every corner of your country. Rabwa will always look forward to see you to bring everybody in the Gold Coast into the fold of Ahmadiyyat, or through Islam, the religion of God. This message was sent in the hands of Ghanaian Ahmadi, Alhaji Hassan Atta of Ashanti region, popularly known as Atta Commander. The expansion and integration of the regions into an organization known as Ahmadiyya Movement was consolidated by Nazir Ahmed Mubashir, the Ahmadiyya missionary for most of the 1940s and 50s. He also expanded the number of basic schools and added the secondary school in Kumasi. These institutions produced a generation of students who pursued diverse professional careers in an independent Ghana. A few pursued religious studies, including Maulana Abdul Wahab bin Adam, son of a pioneer missionary, and Muhammad bin Salih, who is Hassan bin Salih's son, currently the Amir and missionary in charge of Ghana. The Ahmadiyya community's involvement in Ghana expanded in the 1970s with the launch of the Nusrat Jahan scheme, that is Service to Humanity, by the third Khalifa, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmed. This initiative increased educational and health services in Ghana and Africa. Through this initiative, the mission founded new schools and hospitals and clinics throughout the country, serving the rural areas and admitting student patients from any religious tradition. The Service to Humanity scheme has been expanded over the decades and remains a major aspect of the impact of Ahmadiyya's presence in Ghana and West Africa. Natives from Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, and beyond come to Ghana to access healthcare specifically from Ahmadiyya hospitals. As I have mentioned earlier, when secular education was introduced by Benjamin Sam and Mahdi Appa, the Northern Muslim clerics expressed strong disapproval. They felt secular education would bring Muslims out of the armpit of Islam and lead to conversion into Christianity. They believed that English was the language of the infidel, and the study of science will make people less Islamic. Some even believed that if you learn English, you will go to hell. They completely forgot that it was rather the religion of Islam that produced all these disciplines. The establishment of the Ahmadiyya Education Unit with several schools under it and the impact it had on the image of Muslims and Islam generally created an appreciation of the importance of secular education, and this motivated many to turn their madrasas into English and Arabic schools, predominantly in the Zongos. The result is that today we have, alongside Ahmadiyya Education Unit, the Islamic Education Unit, all together with several schools and basic schools and senior high schools in running. Alhamdulillah, today with the support of Iran, we have an Islamic university in Accra, a College of Education in Wenchi, in addition to the Jahan College of Education in Wa. Let me dare say, however, that the fear of the other Muslims about secular education as it was operating in this country also needs accommodation and understanding. Because there were times in this country when schools that operated, though funded with taxpayers' money, were handed over to some particular religious organizations, and they used those schools as means of evangelization. So Ibrahim went to school, or Musa went to school, and their names were changed to Abraham and Moses. And I am a personal witness to that. There was a time in Ghana when Muslims used to start the fast, Ramadan, and end in different days. A particular group will start the fast in a particular day when others would have started about 3 days earlier. Same was the ending. It used to be very embarrassing because that meant that we were not able to end the fast together and that there was no unity in Muslim front. That's when it came to Eid al-Fitr. Groups were celebrating it at different times. While some Muslims were looking up to Saudi Arabia for the sighting of the crescent to start and end their fast, others were looking up to either Kuwait or other places. There was even a joke that the Muslim celebration could not be started by indication of the side of the crescent in a non-Muslim country. It took the Amir of blessed memory to confer with the national chief imam and other scholars to discuss the modalities to resolve this issue. And this resulted in a collaboration for a Muslim conference at the Abu Sokan Mosque, which ultimately gave birth to the formation of Hilal Committee. At the conference were some leaders from parliament, Muslim lecturers from the universities, and some among the imams from the regions. The Hilal Committee was given the responsibility to monitor the appearance of the crescent for the purpose of announcing the start and end of Ramadan throughout the country in the name of the chief imam and the Amir of Ghana, the Amir of Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission. This was yet another milestone which proved to be useful. The result is that Parliament of Ghana was lobbied, and they decided to give Muslims in Ghana 2 public holidays to celebrate Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. One significant thing worthy of mention is that during that time, in fact, the Mirror newspaper, which is not known for writing on religious issues, but more interested in fashion, wrote an editorial and said, in part, what Muslims had done today is a lesson for all political parties in the country, for all the religious bodies in the country, and all other groupings, because it showed that people can sit down to talk, arrive at decisions, and go by it. This is very encouraging, the paper concluded. This effort by the leadership of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community brought peace and harmony in the Muslim front. And this is also another classic example of the impact of Ahmadiyyat in Ghana. Today, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, largely through the Amir and missionary in charge, has become an arbiter in many conflict situations, not only among Muslims, but also other faith organizations. Hardly will you hear of any hot issue in Ghana when the Amir will not be called to provide mediation service, including politically related and election issues. There are other Muslims who always come to confer with Amir, even in their internal matters. This reminds all of us of an illustration the Promised Messiah ﷺ gave to the Quranic prophecy about his coming, and I refer in part. So it is mentioned that Muslims will become divided into as many sects as the Jews. They would increase in hatred and enmity towards each other till the time when the Promised Messiah would appear as an arbiter. He would remove all rancor and hostility. During his time, the wolves and the sheep will be brought together. All historians are aware that at the time of the advent of Jesus ﷺ, the Israelite sects were ridden with dissensions and labeled each other as heretics and infidels. I have also appeared at the time when inner dissensions has multiplied, and each sect has started calling others kafir. At such a time of dissension, the Muslims were in need of an arbiter, and God has therefore sent me as one. You can find this in Kitab al-Bagriya Ruhani Kazan, volume 13, page 254 to 257.
Takbir! Jamaat Ahmadiyya! Ghulam Ahmad Ki! Ghulam Ahmad Ki! Nare Takbir!
An example of the divine role assigned to the Promised Messiah ﷺ is what is seen being played by the community, by his community in Ghana, led by the Amir and missionary in charge, including even serving on the Peace Council, in fulfillment of the prophecy referred above. The Promised Messiah ﷺ added that his community was established to counter the attacks on and to protect the honor of the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and Islam. In this country, it is a truism that other Muslims look up to the Ahmadiyya to set the pace, and together we lead the way in areas of education, health, and general matters affecting the welfare of Muslims in this country. This is an honor we should not reject. We need to play that role and play it well, for the final victory of Ahmadiyya will come, and will come through such means. My brothers and sisters, this is the reason why you and I should not be seen as merely professing Ahmadiyya as lip service, But we must be seen to be living lives which give honor to the Holy Prophet Muhammad's name as well as the name of Islam. Our practical lives as individuals and groups should not give cause for others to condemn Islam and its Prophet. According to the promised Messiah, we are in an age of war against Satan. Satan is using all his powers to attack Islam, and he desires to destroy it. However, God Almighty will once and for all destroy Satan and his effort through this community. The time to act is now, and those who accept the promised Messiah must take up jihad against themselves, must struggle against their own soul. Amir Chairman, I draw these inferences to drum home the fact that today in Ghana and beyond, the beauty of Islam is much seen through the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. The victory march has started, the light is lit, and there's no turning back, and no one should stand aloof. The promised Messiah presented an analogy that one who is able to see the moon in its earlier stage is said to have a good vision. But to say that you are able to see a full moon has no merit. Thus, fortunate are those who have accepted the promised Messiah at this stage and who, by enduring difficulties, are becoming recipients of favors of Allah Almighty. Malfuzat, Volume 5, page 13 to 14. Those of us living today and witnessing this centenary celebration must count ourselves very, very fortunate to be the beneficiaries of the toils and sacrifices of the pioneer Ahmadis. Your endurance as Ahmadis today and your contributions to the victory tomorrow is what will make you a recipient of the favor of the Almighty Allah. In conclusion, Amir Chairman, the history of Ahmadiyya Muslim in Ghana is a testament to the enduring spirit of faith, service, and community development. From its modest beginnings to its current status as a prominent religious community, Ahmadiyya has left an indelible mark on the religious landscape of Ghana through education, healthcare, moral training, and interfaith initiations. The Ahmadiyya community has become an integral part of the nation's social fabrics, embodying the principles of peace, love, and services. As a result of the contributions of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in this country, Islam and Muslims stand tall in all aspects of our national lives. May Allah Almighty accept the sacrifices of those pioneer members of the Jamaat and grant them Jannatul Firdaus. As we celebrate 100 years of excellence, let us remember to continue to pray for Allah's grace for all those who are no longer with us, and remind ourselves that we are all on a journey, and one day we will come to our final destination. Long live the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, long live Khilafat, long live Ghana. Thank you very much, Amir Sahib. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Takbir! Jamaat Ahmadiyya! Alhaj Suleiman Anderson! Nare Takbir! Ghulam Ahmad Ki! Ghulam Ahmad Ki! Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana! Jalsa Salana Ghana! Nare Takbir!
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Amir si mema munyina munside kasa Alhaj Suleiman Ahmed Anderson obekai oyaza uhia papa yi se yekada yebo no tofa obeyedin anya ye yinsem no bibire afim na onam nsem ni hia ohia nti na opede ye kire asefi ahyese dukosi awie ni nti yankopɔne yadom na anwumri yɛ tenasa nipa obeka na asem mu amuim dada nyo bi na obekire na asem asaman lala obeba beka na asem wo fanse wa kyerɛkyerɛ ase kama kama ma obiara watibi sanda yinyi asem a yedisi hɔ dɛ yen afinhyenhyemu a onara so na yedizi yen afihia ɔha afahia erishi osido tinu ho behia da obiara bɛte nsɛm no mu yi na ɔde ne mu adesua ɔde akofie ti yɛsrɛ dɛ anwumri obi ambɔ no mmɔden dɛ ɔbɛba asɔre anwumri na yɛyɛ asɛle wie a nyamber na Alhaj Suleiman Ahmed Anderson wakyerɛkyerɛ ne nsɛm ase As we always do, we still have a few of our guests with us. Because of the time yesterday, we could not invite them to, or introduce them to the gathering. So I would like to call Al-Haj Quino to come to the podium and introduce the rest of the dignitaries that were invited to this function.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. No response. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That is better. Amir Sahib, His Excellency, we have a number of guests who I want to introduce. First on the list is Miss Kathleen Addy, National Commission for National Commission for Civic Education, the chairperson. She is here. She will just give us a few minutes message of fraternity. Next is Sheikh Mustafa Ya Jalala. He is representing the Tijaniya Muslim organization. Ya Jalal. Then we have a rep of the National Blood Bank, Dr. Jetsi. Then we also have our brother, our uncle, and everything. Real Admiral Tahil is here with us. You are welcome. The chief of Mangwasi is also here with his retinue. I think they are sitting over there. Nana, you are welcome. So is the chief of Gomwa Rofiedu. He's also here with his people. And then we have a delegation of 4 Queen Mothers representing the Queen Mother of Mankesim, Nana Amemisa. They are also there, 4 of them. At this juncture, let me call Mrs. Kathleen Addy to give a fraternal message. Madam.
Your Excellency, the former President of the Republic of Ghana and presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dramani Mahama, the Emir and missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Ghana, all dignitaries, brothers and sisters here gathered. I bring you warm felicitations from the National Commission for Civic Education on the occasion of the centenary celebrations of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Ghana. The NCC and Ahmadiyya Mission have a long history of collaboration, and the mission has always been a faithful partner to the Commission. So on this occasion, we celebrate with you, and I am personally humbled for this opportunity granted me by the Emir to share a few thoughts with you. I have personally learned so much from the historical narrative of the 100 years of the mission in Ghana, and I noted many lessons from that history. Key that stood out for me is that indeed, as Ghanaians, we can all live in peace despite their various belief systems. Indeed, the NCC theme for this year is that together we can build Ghana, so get involved. For me, this theme resonates with the story of the Ahmadiyya Mission in Ghana. Yours is a story of building together, growing together, living in peace and harmony with our neighbors. And this is something we must emulate as Ghanaians all together. This theme is a reminder that the Ghana we desire will materialize when we all put our shoulders to the wheel and work together to build it. As citizens of Ghana, we each have a responsibility to defend the 1992 Constitution at all times. This Constitution outlines our responsibilities as well as our rights, and we must be conscious of these at all times. This being an election year, I would just like to reiterate that the values of living in peace together, being law-abiding citizens, political tolerance, religious tolerance must guide our thoughts, our words, and our actions throughout this year in the period leading up to the elections. We have come a long way as a democracy. This is not the year that we set ourselves back by engaging in disruptive behavior that takes us back to a time where we don't want to go. We have come a long way as a country. We have done well in elections. We have a reputation for executing peaceful elections, and this year should be no different. I also want to say that as citizens of Ghana, it is actually not true that we should stay away from politics. I think as citizens of Ghana, we must all be interested in politics because we are practicing a multi-party democratic system, which implies that there will be multiple parties and will have different followings. So we must be very active in politics. We must even be active in partisan politics, but we must not let that divide us. That cannot be a point of division. That cannot be the thing that pulls us apart from each other. That cannot be the thing that sets our country back. In spite of what we believe, which philosophy we follow, we have to understand that it is always Ghana first. Any action, any words that will work against our republic, we must eschew, particularly this election year. One of the things I'd like to highlight is that we must be careful of how we speak about each other and to each other. We must be wary this year of things like fake news, misinformation, and disinformation, which as time goes on and as the internet becomes more prominent in our lives, are real threats to the existence of our very democracy. Let's cross-check what we see and read before we forward. Let's verify the things we see and read before we share, so that we are able to stay on course, hear the messages that are relevant to us, weigh the messages according to what we believe, and go out there and participate fully in the elections. When the day comes, all we have to do, because we know who we are voting for already, is to line up, cast our votes, maybe wait and go home, come back for counting. There is no need to get into any sort of disruption or violence. It is truly not worth it. This is not the first time we are doing this. Also, excuse me. Also, I'd like to highlight again that in spite of our various beliefs, we have lived in this country in peace and harmony for many, many years. We were here before all the great religions arrived, but there has never been a time where we have an outbreak of serious conflict because of religion or our religious beliefs. I think we must continue to be that way, And now more than ever, we must ensure that we are not divided along religious lines. Again, on that note, I'd like to say that at NCC this year, we are determined to do our part as an independent governance institution mandated to ensure that our democracy does not fall apart, mandated to ensure that we all remember the commitment we made as we started the democratic journey, and that we stay on course with the democratic journey. We have to do this because we all know that democracy, as we know, is the only option we have as a country. We have tried a lot of things, and we have arrived at this point where, at least for the past 30 years, we have had political stability, absence of coup d'etat, and all the rest of it. And we must continue with it, because nobody promised that the democracy will be easy. It takes all of us doing our part. It takes all citizens committing to good citizenship for the democracy to hold and for our country to grow. So on that note, again, I'd like to thank the Emir for this opportunity. I'd like to wish all of you the very best as you celebrate the centenary, and I look forward to the rest of the program. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Nare Takbir! Nare Takbir! Next, I call Dr. Dilis of the National Blood Bank. Madam, you are to speak for 2-3 minutes, not more than that, please.
So I make this solidarity message on behalf of the CEO of the National Blood Service, Dr. Shelley Owusu Ofori. His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, the former President of the Republic of Ghana, Al-Hajj Mohammed bin Sali, Amir and missionary in charge of Ahmadiyya Mission, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be here with you today at the 91st Annual National Convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Ghana. I extend my sincere appreciation on behalf of the National Blood Service for the commendable collaboration with the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Ghana, a partnership that has significantly contributed to the integration of blood donation into the annual Jalsa Salana. The inception of this collaboration dates back to the initiation of blood donation exercises by the youth wing of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Osu over a decade ago, and subsequently in Tema in 2013 and then 2015. This partnership afforded the National Blood Service the privilege of participating in our first Jalsa in 2017. Our active involvement continued in the Jalsa Salanas in 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2023, with a brief pause in 2021 and 2022 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm pleased to inform you that during these lives and enhancing the quality of care of people requiring blood transfusion therapy in our hospitals.
Nare Takbir! Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana! Nare Takbir!
We firmly believe that this enduring collaboration between the National Blood Service and the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana focused on the noble cause of saving lives and contributing to the nation's health is here to stay. The National Blood Service sincerely appreciates your steadfast support. Additionally, we seize this moment to convey our heartfelt congratulations to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission for achieving its centenary milestone. In conclusion, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for the honor of being present at the 2020 Jalsa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana. I thank you all for your time and attention, and may Allah, the Exalted, bless us all as we unite in the noble endeavor of ensuring the availability of safe blood for every individual in need in Ghana. Thank you.
Nare Takbir! Nare Takbir! Thank you, Doctor. I now call on the representative of the Tijaniya Muslim Mission in Ghana. He is the Greater Accra chairman in the person of Sheikh Mustafa Jalala. Sheikh, he will speak in Arabic.
حضرة الحاضرين في هذا الموقف موقف العظيم، حضرة رئيس القديم في غانا معروف باسم جون درماني محمد، حضرة جميع الحاضرين هنا، كذلك حضرة الرئيس الأحمدية في غانا الذي هو المعروف نور المحمد السالم، والبقية أقدم لكم تحية الإسلام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. وفي الحقيقة نحن مسرورين جدا بمشاركتكم في هذا الاحتفال العظيم، ولا نطيل عليكم بالكلام، بل نحن كتبنا مقالة، ولكن بمثل هذه الاحتفال لا يسامحنا أن نقرأه لأجل الوقت، ذيك الوقت، ولذلك نحن هنا بكل عضو التجاني في العالم وخاصة في غانا، وأبونا وشيخنا إمام الأئمة هو الذي علمنا بأن نشارك بجماعة الأحمدية، لأنهم مسلمون يقولون لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. ورسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول المسلم أخو المسلم. إذن ما دام جماعة الأحمدية يقولون لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله، نحن تجانيون معهم، نحن معكم، كلنا مسلمون. ولا أطيل لكم بالكلام، أشكركم شكرا جزيلا، وأرجو توفيق إليكم في هذه المناسبة. أخيرا، رئيس الحركة التجانية هو الزعيم الشيخ الودود هارون، لم يتمكن له أن يأتي في هذا الاحتفال لمشاركتكم، ولذلك كنت نائبا له. أشكركم شكرا جزيلا، فجزاكم الله خيرا لدعوتكم إلينا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
نعرة تكبير! نعرة تكبير!
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We've come to yet another important item on the program, which is an address to be delivered by our special guest of honor today. And you know, he is a former president and a flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, and that makes him a very important personality, for which reason he does not move alone. He came here with party functionaries and many supporters, but because of time, we will take the opportunity to introduce the top hierarchy of the party executives and functionaries who are here with him. And soon after the introduction, we will invite His Excellency, our former President John Dramani Mahama, to address us. Top on the list is Mr. Kwame Dean Iyosin, who is our own brother, one of our own, the son of Moviosin, our immediate past neighbor, Amir One, and then the PC, that's the parliamentary candidate for Gumwa Central. The next is Honorable Desmond de Graft, who is the MP for Gumwa East. We also have here with us accompanying His Excellency, Honorable Nakoyo, who is the parliamentary candidate for Ewutu Senya East. Then we have Mr. Kofi Bedu, who is the parliamentary candidate for us. Is it Bedu or Bedu? Right, okay. Asin South constituency, he is the parliamentary candidate. Dr. James Annan, PC, that's a parliamentary candidate for Efutu constituency. And then Alhaji Kobna Tahir Gansa, Alhaji Kobna Gansa, MP for Esikma Odobin Brakwa, and we all know him. He's also one of our own. Alhaj Yunus Owusu, he is the regional chairman for Bono East. He is also one of our own. Alhaj Mohammed Sani, regional chairman, Upper East, Upper West, thank you. Dr. Alpha Museibu. As for Dr. Alpha, he is 50-50 because I've already told him that his half is for me, is for Ahmediyyat, and half of him is for NDC. As far as JASA proceedings are concerned, and this is JASA grounds, Dr. Alpha is also one of our own, and you all know him. I should properly address him, Honorable former Minister, Deputy Minister of Upper West. We all know him as such. Honorable Al-Hassan Suhini, who is also MP for Tamale North. Honorable Rashid Pelpu, MP for Wa Central. Professor Richard Asiedu, Regional Chairman for Central Region. He is here with his Vice Eko Penyin. Then we also have Alhaj Mohammed Kul Nyonga. He is the Zungu Caucus Coordinator, National Zungu Caucus Coordinator. He's also here with his regional coordinator, who is Abdullah. Then we have Honorable Julius Debra. He is a former Chief of Staff. His Excellency, you wrote his name as part of the list of the delegation. Yes, that was a mishap. The person who prepared the list added His Excellency's name to the list. So on this note, ladies and gentlemen, like Amir said, we have such an important personality in our midst. The least that we can do is to remain silent and listen to him attentively. On that note, with utmost respect, Your Excellency, I wish to invite you to the podium to address us.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Republic of Ghana. Nara Takbir. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana. Jalsa Salana Ghana. 71st Jalsa Salana Ghana. Centenary Jalsa Salana. Nara Takbir.
Thank you very much. Let me proceed on the established protocol and acknowledge all my brothers and sisters here, but permit me to acknowledge my elder brother, Maulvi Mohammed bin Salih, who is the Amir and missionary of the Ahmadiyya mission here in Ghana. And let me also acknowledge His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad, who's the leader of the Ahmadiyya movement in the whole world. And to also acknowledge my uncle, father, Alhaji Mama Idrisu, who's the chairman of the Council of Elders of the NDC party. Everybody else, I say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I wish to thank you for your kind invitation to be a part of this very auspicious event, which is the annual Jalsa Salana held here every year. This event brings Ahmadis from all over the country and even outside. I was remarking to Maulvi bin Salih when I was introduced to the delegation from Burkina Faso and Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Benin. It brings people, not only, Ahmadis not only from Ghana, but from outside our country, to not only renew their faith, but also to reflect on how to advance the teachings of the Ahmadiyya denomination. I must say this is not the first time I'm setting foot on these grounds, the Garden of Ahmad, and I can safely say that I'm not a stranger here. And I wish to associate with Maulvi bin Salih when he said, I'm safer amongst you than even amongst my own security. This Jalsa Salana has the theme, A Century of Islamic Revival in Ghana, and it celebrates the achievements of the Ahmadiyya mission since its introduction in Ghana in 1921. Indeed, I listened attentively to the rest of what I could catch of Alhaji Anderson's narration of the history of the Ahmadiyya mission in Ghana. And I must say, it's not been an easy road. It's been a very hard and tortuous road. But it teaches us lessons of perseverance and courage, because the early missionaries who brought Ahmadiyya religion to Ghana were persecuted, and they had to undergo a lot of self-sacrifice in order that we achieve what we have today. And so on an occasion like this, we pay tribute to the early missionaries and pray that for those who have gone before, Allah grant them Jannatul Firdaus. I was also intrigued and happy that the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission played a very important part in the establishment of the Hilal Committee and the Hilal Conference. When Alhaji Anderson was narrating how the Hilal Committee came about, I listened attentively because as Vice President, I had the opportunity to attend several of the Hilal conferences. And one particularly struck me, the one in Bolgatanga, where we held the Hilal conference in the Catholic Social Center. And it was a symbol of religious tolerance that Ahmadis hold very high, because it was a conference to decide on the Ramadan and the sighting of the moon. And we couldn't hold it anywhere but in the Catholic Social Center, which is a Christian denomination. And I said that that highlights the principle of religious tolerance that Ahmadis hold very dear. The Ahmadi mission is committed to religious tolerance, as I've just said, and they love to live peacefully, side by side, with people of other faith. Aside from that, Ahmadis stand for peace because Islam is a religion of peace. And so nowadays when we see those aberrations where people believe that they must kill other human beings in the name of jihad, it goes completely against the tenets of Islam. Aside from that, a key principle of the Ahmadi mission is service to mankind. And that is why you find the mission investing in many areas such as health, such as education, and such as agriculture. We all know of the TI Ahmadiyya schools all over the country, and we also are aware of the hospitals that this mission has built in many parts of Ghana. The tenets of the Ahmadiyya denomination are principles that underpin not only national peace for us in our country, Ghana, but also for world peace. If all of us abided by these tenets, that we have tolerance for each other's faith, and that we want to live in peace, and that we want to serve mankind, that is, be each other's brother's keeper, I don't think there will be any tensions or war in this world. And this reflects in the Ahmadis' love for discipline and order, and I think it's commendable and must be reflected by other faith-based groups in this country. And so on the note of peace that I just mentioned, I recognize that this year is an election year, and there's a need for peace for us to be able to hold a successful election. I want to affirm to you that the party that I lead, NDC, is a party of peace. And if there will be any violence, I can pledge to you and assure you that we would not be the cause of that violence. But let me say, while we advocate for peace, we always talk about peace in our country, we always talk about peace during elections, we must not forget that there must also be justice. Because without justice, there can be no peace. And so I urge that all the faith-based organizations, including Ahmadiyya, you include in your advocacy for peace also the advocacy for justice. Because it is the lack of justice that leads to an abrogation of peace. And I can give two recent examples. We all know what happened during the by-election in our Ayawaso West Wogo. During that by-election, a group of people, masked men in national security uniform, some in police uniforms, opened fire and injured several of our supporters. As I speak, one of them is still bedridden since that time. He was shot in the leg, he has lost use of that leg, and because of that, he is unable to go back to work. And he's had to survive on the little humanitarian support that some of us continue to give him. I mean, for such a person, justice is needed. Yes, the president set up a commission of inquiry. The commission of inquiry gave its recommendations, which asked that some people be sanctioned. As I speak, nobody has been sanctioned because of Ayawaso West Wogo. It also recommended compensation for the people who were injured. As of now, they haven't received any such compensation. And that's why I say, in addition to advocating for peace, we must also advocate for justice. 8 people lost their lives in the last election of 2020. 3 of them in Techiman and the other 5 in other locations. There has been no investigation. There's been no inquiry. Their parents and loved ones are living in misery. There have been no compensation to these families. And that is why I have said several times that if Allah favors the NDC and we come into office, we will make sure that these people get justice, that those who are responsible are held to account, and that compensation is paid to the families of those who were injured or have died as a result of this violence. To have justice, we must have an electoral commission that is fair and neutral. We must have an electoral commission that is fair and neutral, not one that springs surprises on the political stakeholders. Wake up one morning and announce that you are shifting the election date. But for our protest, the Electoral Commission was determined to hold presidential elections in November this year. Wake up one morning and say, we won't use indelible ink anymore. Everybody knows that you cannot refuse to use indelible ink unless you introduce a new constitutional instrument into Parliament. And as long as you don't have a new constitutional instrument, you cannot unilaterally declare that you are not going to use indelible ink. And so we need an electoral commission that is fair and just and is neutral amongst all the stakeholders in order for us to have a peaceful election. If we must have peaceful elections, we must have security services that are neutral, security services that are loyal only to the state and not to any political party. And that is why I find strange the police service disassociation from the statement made by one of their own about the role of the military in elections. And I think he was right. The primary responsibility for election security is that of the Ghana Police Service. The Ghana Police Service is responsible for the task force that makes sure that elections are peaceful. And they invite their sister security services to participate. And so if somebody says election security is the baby of the police service, it's true. It is their primary responsibility. But because there are 40,000 polling centers and we do not have 40,000 policemen in this country, the police service alone cannot do it. And that's why they invite immigration, fire service, and prisons to join them. And they invite the military too, but the military are not primarily responsible for election security. The military are deployed in particular locations, and they are only called when the police service cannot handle a situation. And so if somebody says the primary responsibility of election security is for the police, and as he said, the election security is the baby of the police service, I agree with him. He's right. It's the primary responsibility of the IGP and the police service to provide us with security, and other security services complement their efforts. And particularly the military, they're not supposed to be in polling stations, they're not supposed to be in collation centers, they're supposed to be deployed in safe locations and are called only when the police cannot handle a situation. And so I find it strange the police dissociating themselves from this statement, because I don't see what the DCOP said wrong. And so, like I said, religious organizations must advocate both justice and peace in order that we have successful elections. Our country, Ghana, is at the crossroads, and there's no doubt that we have to take urgent steps to consolidate our democracy. This election of 2024 is probably the most critical election we're going to have since 1992. And we need a government that is trustworthy and truthful to the people. We need a government that will tell the people the truth at all times and not use propaganda and miscommunication to make us think that things are okay when we know things are really not going in the right direction. We need a government that will take courageous steps to turn around our economy. And that's why, among other policies, I have advocated the 24-hour economy that would give incentives to businesses to run 24 hours a day, day and night, in order that we can create more jobs for our young people and extricate our people from poverty. I'm standing as the presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress. And inshallah, if Allah is gracious to us and grants us victory, I pledge that we will work closely with religious leaders to reclaim the moral soundness and the values that our society held dear in the past. As the world continues to modernize, we have continued to lose the value systems that our ancestors and our great-grandfathers taught us. We were taught not to steal. We were taught not to tell lies. We were taught not to be dishonest. And yet, because of modernization, social media, and all the other new media we are exposed to, a lot of those values that we held dear are beginning to dissipate. And I pledge that we'll work with religious organizations to see how we can consolidate the morality that was handed over to us by our ancestors. We will confer with religious organizations to review the curriculum of our basic education and secondary education in order that we can infuse more moral education into the curriculum, and also to infuse more education on responsible citizenship and patriotism in the curriculum. I remember when we were young and in primary school and secondary school, in our curriculum, we had to learn religious and moral education, RME, and it was compulsory for all of us. And I think that it instilled certain values in me that I continue to strive to live by. Aside from that, in elementary school, for us, we had a course they called civic education. And under civic education, we were taught responsible citizenship, how to be a responsible citizen of Ghana. We were taught how to be patriotic to our nation, how to respect our national anthem, and be useful ambassadors of our country. Aside from that, we also taught ethics and courtesy, simple courtesy, how to get off your seat in a bus when you see an elderly person with a walking stick. You give, as a young person, you give up your seat and let them sit down. We even taught how to etiquette at the dining table. You don't eat with people and talk with your mouth full of food. You don't eat and belch loudly to the discomfort of the other people you are eating with. These were all things that we were taught when we were children, and these have remained with us until now. At least I don't belch when I'm with strangers eating and make them uncomfortable. We also would want, and we are having a policy dialogue, currently NDC policy dialogue, and we're discussing issues to do with education. And we're going to come and confer with religious organizations that, to see how we can strengthen the collaboration between governments and the religious organizations in the management of our schools, both at the basic and secondary level. And also to collaborate in strengthening healthcare. We know that if you compare the management of hospitals under the control of missions and those under the control of Ghana Health Services, you find that there's more order and discipline in the mission hospitals than there are in the government hospitals. And so we'll confer and see how we can collaborate to consolidate our strengths in this regard. Aside from that, we have a proposal to encourage more religious organizations to go into agriculture and agribusiness. I know that the Ahmadiyya Mission has some agricultural ventures, and on these grounds that we are standing today, it was established by Kwame Nkrumah, our first president, as the Pomazi Poultry Farm, and it was acquired by the Ahmadiyya Mission when it was put on divestiture. I'm happy to hear when I was talking with Mulvey that the mission is still keeping the poultry farm going, but it's not been easy. He says it's not on the scale that it was in the days of Kwame Nkrumah. And he said, then government should help you to scale up your poultry production. And he said, when you come, you say it, so that when you win, I'll follow you, I'll chase you to do it. And so, Mulvey, I wish to say it, that if Allah is gracious and I'm president, I will help you to scale up your poultry farm so that it becomes a model for all other religious groups to emulate. We can do poultry farming, religious groups, we can do livestock rearing, we can do aquaculture, we can set up farms, and I believe that under an administration of NDC, we'll collaborate with religious organizations to set up farms, to set up agro-processing businesses so that we can add value to the crops that we produce here in Ghana. Let me commend the chair of the National Commission for Civic Education for her very uplifting statement that she gave here this morning. And I want to add my voice to hers to call on all our citizens to participate in our politics. There's nothing that bars Ahmadis or Christians or people of other faith from participating in politics. And as the great philosopher said, he said the price that we pay, that wise people pay for refusing to participate in public affairs is to be governed by the foolish ones. And so we must all participate. And I wish to appeal especially to our young people not to give up hope. I hear a lot of young people say they won't vote because they don't see the purpose of voting. I implore you, you must vote. You must take part in electing the government that is going to govern you for the next 4 years. Otherwise, you have no cause to complain if a government comes that does not do the things that will make your life meaningful. And so I think that it is something to add my voice to hers, to encourage all of us to participate in the electoral process. I announced about 2 weeks ago when I went for the Ghana Muslim Mission function in Kumasi, and at that function, Sheikh Amin Bonsu mentioned the issue with Muslims praying on different days as a result of the confusion about the sighting of the moon and all others. And I think today when Alhaji Anderson spoke, he spoke about the reason why the Hilal Committee was set up in order to avoid the confusion that was existing in respect of Muslims praying on different days instead of on exactly the day recommended by the Hilal Committee. And so at that event in Kumasi, I did make a statement that if Allah is gracious to the NDC and we come into government, we will reconfigure the holidays. We currently have 13 holidays in Ghana. We'll reconfigure the holidays so that we still have 13 days, but we'll allocate one of those holidays to the Muslims on Eid al-Fitr. And so there'll be 2 days of holiday on Eid al-Fitr, so that if even there is confusion with the sighting of the moon, both prayers will be said on days that are holidays. And so the Muslim fraternity will have 3 holidays instead of the current 2. But one of them will be added to Eid al-Fitr, so that wherever there's confusion about the sighting of the moon and people pray on different days, it will still be a holiday for them to be able to rest on that particular day. I also noticed the poor nature of your road. And if there's one promise I can give you, if Allah is gracious and I become president, the next Jalsa Salana I'll come on a more comfortable road than what I came on. We would make sure that we modernize the road, put bitumen on it so that we stop spreading dust on the people living alongside the road. I think that these grounds deserve a better road than what we came on. And so on this occasion, I want to thank all of you and to thank Molvi for your kind welcome and hospitality when I arrived here. And I know that this organizing this Solana involves a lot of money. I remarked to Molvi that the numbers are increasing. I've attended several Jalsa Solanas, but today's numbers are so overwhelming that I'm sure that it has cost you a lot to be able to organize this. And so we came with a little contribution to also assist. And so we brought you some Malta Guinness soft drinks, 300 cartons of them. We brought some bottled water, 200 cartons of bottled water, and then a soft drink called Alvaro. We brought 200 cartons of that. And then I also have in my hand 50,000 cedis to support you in this function. I thank you very much, and may Allah richly bless us. Thank you.
His Excellency Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the former President of the Republic of Ghana. Nara Takbir.
Song of praise, song of praise.
على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم.
صلى الله عليه
وسلم.
صلى الله عليه
وسلم.
نبي الله محمد يامين شراكانو يامين سونجكانو أنكنا برينا صلى الله عليه
وسلم.
صلى الله عليه
وسلم.
نبي الله محمد يامين شراكانو يامين سونجكانو
أنكنا برينا
هذا سمع منتيو Yamene somafo adasa me munteyo yamene komishenyi adasa me munteyo oboya meka fanji nenza inde wazin kunyimu sallallahu alayhi
wasallam.
Sallallahu alayhi
wasallam.
Nabiullah Muhammad yamene shirakan yamene sunjekanu Akana berejina Nari Takbir.
Among the dignitaries we have today coming to solidarize with us is a representative of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba. The Vice President is represented here by Professor Victor Enchi. He is the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the university. So you're welcome, Prof. Great. He's a, oh, did I say President? Yes. Because these politicians are here. So. I want just briefly to demonstrate to you the true colors of the Amir, a missionary in charge, his political colors, which indeed is suggesting that those political colors are the political colors of Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana. In so doing, I'll introduce two gentlemen to you. And before I do that, I want to introduce two of our members who are vying for parliamentary elections on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress. I really wished, and that was my program, that today, that all the Ahmadi Muslims in this country who are standing in elections, representing all the various political parties, I would introduce all of them here. But it looks like the information didn't go to the others. But we have here a young man called Naimuddin Yosin. When I talk of Yosin, I'm talking of Maulana Muhammad Yosin, a missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, my senior. He was only next to Maulana Wahab Adam, but currently is not enjoying the best of health. This is his son, Naim. Are you Naimuddin or only Naim? Naimuddin Yosin. He is standing on the ticket of the National Democratic Council.
Congress.
Oh, it's a Congress.
Yes, a Congress.
You see, when a missionary wants to double in politics, this is what happens to him. National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for Gomwa Central. And Bagi Ahmad, where we sit, is part of his constituency. The possibility is if he wins, because His Excellency is hammering so much on agriculture, we may be sure of having him, if not the substantive Minister for Agriculture, maybe the Deputy Minister, so that he'll be in a position to really spearhead and ensure that the promise, the pledge that His Excellency has given us is actually fulfilled by helping us to revamp Kumasi poultry industry and bring it back to those glorious days as it was during the time of Kwame Nkrumah. So with me here is Naimuddin Yosin. He's full of vigor, young, and enterprising. So you can say salam to him.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
But no campaigning.
No campaigning.
The second one is already a member of parliament, but he's standing elections again. He is Honorable Al-Hassan Gansa. Al-Hassan Gansa, brah. During the last campaign, he is a member of parliament for Esikuma Odobi Brakwa. He is the Trinity holder of NDC. Esikuma Odobi Brakwa. During the politicking, they used to call him Alaji One. So he is here with me. Just to introduce him, I'm not playing politics for any one of them, but I just want you to know that we have them among us. I told you I was going to demonstrate my true colors. I haven't gotten there yet. Take it easy. So, Al-Hassan Gansa, salam to everybody.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now I invite Dr. Sharif Khalid and Dr. Hafiz bin Sali. Both of them should join me here. These are my two sons. Dr. Sharif Khalid is in the NDC National Committee on Economics and Finance. That should tell you the kind of NDC member he is. Very, very committed to his party. And if we hear him talk, the voice, and you see him standing here, you don't know he's the one, because that voice is bigger than him. But he is my son. Then you have Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, who is the regional missionary. Oh, yeah. who is the Upper West Regional Minister and a very staunch member of the NPP, New Patriotic Party. NDC and MPP, they live together in the same house, my own house. We sit together on the table to eat, and I am their father. Now it's for you to determine what my colors are. That's just all what I wanted to tell you. You can have your seat. Having said this, I want to introduce you to the true colors of the gentleman who just spoke to us, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He is a sword with two edges. Both edges are very sharp. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is culturally a Muslim. If I invite him here to call the azan for you, you will wonder that he's the one. I can assure you he can do it very well. You will not believe it. And he can lead you in salat. But he is religiously a Christian. But in practical life, both a Muslim and a Christian. Unless until you see him in church, you will find it very difficult to tell whether he actually is a Muslim or a Christian. I'm just trying to tell you that he is a leader. It's the human being that matters to him, not what you say you are. And that he is not self-centered. No iota of arrogance in him. You could all see his demeanor when he stepped here to address us. On behalf of all of you, therefore, I want to say a very big thank you to him. As he said, I pushed him and insisted that he should announce that he will assist us to revamp the Pomazi poultry industry. And I told him the reason why I was pushing him. I said, I want you to announce it so that I can pursue you when you become president and ensure that you do it. At the end of the day, he has made that promise. But he knows also that if he becomes president, I will do what I said I will do. I want to thank him very much. Thank him for all the lieutenants who came with him. Thank you for the donation that you have made to us. But most importantly, the words of wisdom that you have given us today. As far as we are concerned, we are first and foremost Ghanaian Ahmadi Muslims. We only resort to the Almighty Allah and pray to Almighty Allah. We first thank Him. We thank Him by saying that, oh Allah, you've given us everything that makes a nation great. I mentioned it yesterday here when His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana was here and the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. We Ahmadis thank the Almighty Allah for giving us everything. All the natural resources that you can think of, we have them within a very small geographical entity. Apart from that, if you remember yesterday, I told you, apart from the natural resources, but even this one too is a natural resource, the brains. The brains. From the World Bank to the United Nations and to wherever you want to go. I bet you go and see. Ghanaians are the architects there. It's difficult, therefore, to tell why we should be where we are. It's difficult to tell why Ghana is rich, but the Ghanaian is poor. So our only prayer is that the Almighty Allah is the one who knows best who it is. Whether His Excellency John Mahama or His Excellency Alhaji Mahmudu Bawumia, who of the two is the best person Allah wishes to anoint. And Allah wishes to anoint because He knows that person has what it takes to take us to the promised land. That is what we pray for. Because Ghana deserves nothing less than the best. Let this be the prayer of each and every one of us here. But just as He appealed to us, we must let peace reign. It is true. Peace cannot reign without justice. We must ensure that there is justice. You can see he was preaching Islam. I told you he's culturally a Muslim. That is the duty of each and every one of us. We are the ones who can make this happen. We are the ones who have the thumbs. And we are the ones who have that conscience. And we should let that conscience guide us to use these terms very, very well. And when I say to use it very well, I'm talking to Muslims. That we must pray first before you use this term on the day of elections. Pray to the Almighty Allah that, oh Allah, guide me to use this term in the appropriate way, pleasing to you, and which is the best and better way for my country, Ghana. With this, I want to thank His Excellency once more. We cannot thank him enough. What we can only say is that Allah Ta'ala is the best rewarder. And we commit him to the hands and protection of the Almighty Allah, that He takes care of him, He protects him, and blesses all his endeavors. And that we are all solidly behind him in prayers, that the Almighty Allah may grant him his heart's desires, those heart desires that are in his own interest and in the interest of all of us. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah, Ahsan al-Jazaa, and also to the lieutenants who came with him. Without you, he cannot be anything. So thank you very much for coming, and may God bless all of you. Mr. General Secretary.
Yes, sir. One gentleman who came with the former president is Honorable Dr. Ekos Gabra, and we would want to also acknowledge his presence. He's a former Minister of State, and in fact, but for the fact that Amir has already shortlisted the presidential candidate, I was going to contest for presidency, but you have already shortlisted. All too soon, alhamdulillah, we've come to the end of the program. I was expecting the chairman to be here because he has his bayat form with Amir. He promised that this year I will come and sign. Honorable Johnson, I see Dunkacha didn't come. Amir have the bayat form, he will fill and return it to you, inshallah. So we thank Allah for His grace and for giving us the opportunity to come to the end of the program successfully. Inshallah, we'll be reconvening here. We all know Huzu's sermon will start exactly at 1 p.m. We will go and perform ablution and come immediately after Huzu's sermon. There will be a brief sermon, just 5 minutes for sermon. We'll say Juma, and then we'll add Jalsa Salana to it, and that will be okay for today, inshallah. We are most grateful to all of you. And this is to also remind you that the blood donation is still ongoing, so after Juma Salat, we'll or proceed to the centers and make sure that we donate. I've been announcing from time to time of children who have been missing, rather their parents have been missing. Today, I myself am missing, so my son is seriously looking for me. So if anybody finds Daniel Ogo, Kobina, if he's around, you can come directly to the stage. I'm here, you will find me here. If you cannot make your here, just go to the female clinic. I'll meet you there, inshallah. On this note, Amisa, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar.
Asomdwe onke ye inara asomdwe onke ye ina onyame na asomdwe onka ye ina
Asomdwe onka ye inara asomdwe onka ye ina asomdwe onka ye inara asomdwe onka ye ina Onyamina somde onka yeina. Salamu alaikum Sayyidina, Salamu alaikum Sayyidina. Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina, Salamu alaikum Sayyidina.
Yes, one more important announcement. Kudamla Media. In fact, not only them, all of us. As we are saying Juma here. So as we are leaving, we should be packing the chairs. We'll be taking the chairs that as we've been doing every year, to make it quicker and faster. So as soon as you get up, you also take the chair and then you put it at wherever is appropriate, so that we can clear this place and make it ready for Salat, inshallah. Intino Daniel, Ogo, Governor, where are you? So Hanuma, Count Brahmi,
Salamu alaikum Sayyidina, Salamu alaikum Sayyidina. Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina, Salamu alaikum Sayyidina. Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina.
Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina, Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina. Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina, Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina. Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina.
Asumge onka yeina, asumge onka yeina.
Handkerchief.
Asumge onka yeina, asumge onka yeina. Unyamena asumge onka yeina.
Asumge onka yeina, asumge onka yeina. Asumge onka yeina, asumge onka yeina. Unyamena asumge onka yeina.
Nano
Yamena asumge onka yeina. Nano yamena asumge.
For purposes of clarity, our Juma will start after Hudu sermon, not before. After Hudu sermon, say Friday. So we'll be listening to the live transmission of Hudu sermon, and then soon after we'll do our Juma, and then that will be for it.
Salamu alaikum Sayyidina, Salamu alaikum Sayyidina.
Allahu Akbar.
And like I said, the Juma will be said right here, so we should take note and then get the grounds ready by taking out the chairs.
Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina.
Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina, Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina. Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina, Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina. Assalamu alaikum.
We have received the sacrifice of Sadiq Hossein from Cote d'Ivoire. He's asking for our prayers. In fact, many more of our members have offered sacrifices All of them asking for prayers.
In the heart of West Africa, the vibrant nation of Ghana proudly marks a historic milestone. A century of unwavering unity, spirituality, and community bonds. Be a part of history as we commemorate 100 years of Jamaat Ahmadiyyat Ghana. Join us in celebrating 100 years of spiritual enlightenment, unity, and brotherhood at the Ghana Jalsa Salana Centenary celebration. Together, let's embark on a journey that harnesses the past, celebrates the present, and inspires a harmonious future.
You are welcome to Centenary Jalsa Ghana. You are welcome to Centenary Jalsa Ghana.
وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث.
We take the viewers of MTA on a unique tour. In this series, we will take you through the various schools set up by the Jamaat in Ghana to serve the people of the nation. This institution stands as a testament to a commitment to serve the nation through knowledge and enlightenment. Join us as we delve into the history, academic excellence, and community spirits that define the essence of T.I. Ahmadiyya School.
के साथ समंदर गूंज उठे एक मंजर हर सू फैल गया तकबीरों से घर गूंज उठे एक मंजर हर
Among the very impactful and extensive educational network comprising preschools, primary schools, and junior high schools, our focus in this documentary is the Kumasi Senior High School.
आका की बातें दो चार नहीं 100 बार सुनो.
T.I. Ahmadiyya Senior High School, Kumasi, was established by the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Ghana in 1950. The reason or rationale for the establishment of the school was that to bring secular education together with religious education to the people of Ghana and particularly members of the Ahmadiyya community. It was also to combine academic excellence with high moral standard and discipline. The founding fathers of the school were Al-Haji Hassan Atta, Al-Haj V.A. Isaka, Dr. Yusuf Ahmed Eduse were all pioneer members for the establishment of the school. They all played significant role in establishing the Ahmadiyya Senior High School. But the land was donated by the then Otumfuo, Sir Nana Ajma Prempe II, who donated a piece of land, and not only that, but also donated £100 for the school to take off. And the foundation of the school was laid by he himself.
When it comes to inclusivity and diversity, T.I. Ahmadiyya Senior High School is an epitome. You see, in this school, we have students from different ethnic groups, different religious backgrounds. We have people from different regions, and we all come here, we live together as brothers and sisters peacefully, as it's our motto that love for all, hatred for none. And speaking about religions as well, we have Christians in the school, we have Muslims in the school. The Christians are allowed to worship on Sundays, and there are other times of worship. And we also allow them to take up leadership positions in the school, not only for the students, but also for the managerial positions of the school as well. So in T.I. Hamas, everyone is welcome, whether you are a Muslim, a Christian, or from any other religion.
बाजार समात गर्म हुआ आवाज के गौहर गूंज उठे एक एक मंजर हर सू फैल गया.
The vision of the school is for it to be a model learning center for higher academic and moral standards towards lifelong experiences. And also, speaking of the mission, is to create an innovative and disciplined teaching and learning environment with the requisite resources to discover and develop the potentials for a responsible adult life.
The current student population of the school is 6,640. Academically, the school has made giant strides. It has been getting excellent results in WASI. In fact, in almost all the subjects, or most of the subjects, the school has been scoring 100% in the West African Secondary School Certificate examinations. And in 2022, the school was able to produce the best student in the general arts program in the whole of West Africa. Apart from that, in the maiden edition of the Love FM debate, which was organized in 2018, the school took the first position. In 2023, the school also was in the final level of that same competition. Academically, as I said, the school has also been performing excellently in all other areas or competitions. We prepare our students very well towards WASI. Internal examinations are organized in the school, and everything about academic is something that the school takes very seriously. And it is not for nothing that the school has been able to churn out students who are also able to gain admissions into various tertiary institutions, nursing training colleges, and teacher education. I must say that AMAS has been the school that has won the regional Milo competition, that is soccer Milo competition, 2 times. Apart from that, the inter-school athletics competition and super zonals at the regional level, AMAS has also won it 10 consecutive times, and that is unprecedented in the history of sports in the Ashanti region and for the country. In the year 2018, AMAS was awarded as the best school in terms of sports by the Sports Writers Association of Ghana.
As we heard from the headmaster of T.I. Ahmedia Senior High School, Kumasi, he spoke about the history, achievements. He also emphasized on the impact that the school has made on the immediate community and the country at large.
Notable personalities who have passed through the school. The first one that immediately comes to mind is our former Emil Morvi, Dr. A. Wahab Adam. He was one of the pioneer students of the school, and it was after here that he continued his education in Pakistan and later became the first Ghanaian Emil of Ghana. Apart from that, we can also mention Mr. I.K. Jesse, who was also a pioneer student, who also rose to become a headmaster of the school. In fact, AMAS has played a significant role in producing headmasters for our senior high schools. Almost all the headmasters and headmistresses of our schools were more or less produced by AMAS. Currently, we have the headmaster of T.I. AMAS, Mr. Ayub, my humble self, an old student, the headmistress of Asokori T.I. Ahmedia, Hajia Aisha Nanchechua. Mr. Ululu Takin, a very successful businessman and industrialist, was someone who also passed through the school. We have the current Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Dr. Stephen Amwa, was also a former student of this school. And all others were people who are accomplished lawyers, and they all trained by AMAS. So we have people of great repute who have passed through AMAS and are contributing significantly to the progress of the country. And so the impact the school has had on the Ghanaian society is this: that The school has trained people or churned out people who are contributing in diverse ways in the socio-political and economic development of the country. People are economists, people are politicians, people are playing other roles in the Ghanaian society which are benefiting the people of Ghana in general. And if these people are also contributing in diverse ways in helping develop the country, then it means that Amas has also contributed its quota in having influence and then positive impact on the Ghanaian society.
In our journey through T.I. Ahmadiyya Senior High School, Kumasi, we reflect on the profound mission behind its establishment by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, that is, to serve the nation through education. Stay tuned to MTA as we bring to you the entire series on schools established by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Ghana.
It reminds all about the saying of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih III, Rahimahullah. We have now come to you with the message of love. We have been serving you, your different countries, for the last 50 years. Each one of you, old and young, the ruler and the ruled, the official and the public, knows that during these 50 years, we did not involve ourselves in your politics, had no access to grind, and did not even cast an avaricious glance in the direction of your wealth. You know well that whatever we made, we plowed back in your countries, and what you had not earned, but others had earned in another country, we brought here and invested in your service.
तकबीरों से घर गूंज उठे एक मंजर हर सू फैल गया तकबीरों से घर गूंज उठे वो हमदो सना की लहर चली के साथ समंदर गूंज उठे एक मंजर.
There is none worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger.
There is none worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger.
There is none worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger.
Ghana Jama Sarve, Ghana Jama Sarve, Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary. Ghana Jama Sarve, Ghana Jama Sarve, Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary. Ghana Jama Sarve, Ghana Jama Sarve, Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary. Ahmadiyya Sarve, Centenary.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Viewers, it is still the 91st Jalsa Salana of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Ghana, and all too soon we have come to the end of the first session, and that is for today. It was hugely attended, and the main opposition leader of this country graced our occasion and made a lot of impactful remarks, which we shall be bringing to your notice very soon. But in the meantime, we have a number of delegates that we shall be interviewing to find out from them their impressions. Some of them is the first time that they have attended the Jalsa Salana. So please, the delegates, if you are quite close, if you can come to us, so that we can make some enquiries from you to find out from you your impression. Please come, please. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You are welcome to our Jalsa Salana. Please, we do not have so much time, and so I'll be asking you one questions each so that we can beat time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.
This is your first time of coming to Jalsa Salana, am I right?
It's not my first time because I have been here for my study in Jamia.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Please briefly just tell us, what is your impression of this year's Jalsa Salana?
Okay, my expression is what I've seen so far in these 2 days. Right. It is so wonderful. Right. It's very much expressing, and this shows us that we have to take this impression and go back to apply this whatever has been done in this nice gathering, we have to copy and go and applicate in our service, yes, our Jamaat there.
Thank you very much. I'm doing this presentation with my co-presenter in the person of Hafif Farouk. So, Mosab, if you could go on with the next
once
interview.
Again, we'll go to our next delegate and take some few questions from him. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Can you please tell us your name and where you come from?
My name is Musa Isa Mashiri from Malawi, missionary. Yes.
So, how can you please share with us some of your experience and your impression for this year's Jalsa Salana?
Yes, the Jalsa Salana of this year is a very unique Jalsa because it's a centenary Jalsa where we are trying to celebrate and also to thank Allah who has enabled us to complete a centenary 100 of the Jamaat since was started. So,
wonderful.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for finding the time to come and talk to us. We shall be interviewing other delegates who have also come from far and wide. We have in the person a very wonderful personality that I've always loved to communicate with here over and over again. Movi, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Movi, is this your first time of attending Jalsa Salana Ghana?
No, that's not the first time.
Right.
Definitely not the first time. So I've been studying here in Ghana for 7 years.
Okay.
So it should be over 7 times now. That's the 8th time.
So quickly, if you could just make a quick introduction of yourself and then just give us your impression about this year's Jalsa Salana.
Yes, I'm Noor Mohammed Turabali from Mauritius.
All right.
Studied in Jamia Ahmadiyya International here in Ghana.
All right.
And I'm serving in MTA and in Khudam in Mauritius
right
now.
Right.
And being here at the Jalsa is just make me speechless, to be here back where we studied, where we grew up. Even being a Mauritian, we felt so loved back then and right now. Right in the Jalsa Gah and by everyone, everywhere. So, well, we hope that everyone who is watching is enjoying the Jalsa as we are enjoying here in the Jalsa ground. We hope so. Inshallah, we hope so.
And I would want to believe that you have 2 homes, Mauritius and Ghana.
Of course. Please don't ask me the question, which one first. But they are both dear to me.
Right. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers, those were the interviews of a few foreign delegates who are here. And they're telling you how they're enjoying the Jalsa. We wish we could hear more of that. But of course, that brings us to the end of the first session of the second day of the centenary Jalsa Ghana, the 91st Annual National Convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Ghana. Malim Sahab, what's next?
Next, we are going to have the live sermon of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis. He's going to deliver his Friday sermon, and we encourage you to stay tuned as we bring you the Friday sermon of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih.
For now, we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. After the sermon, of course, there's going to be a lot of documentaries that will be coming your way. So stay tuned and enjoy those documentaries as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah once again.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
La for hit for none all the time.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
La for hit for none all the time.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
La for hit for none all the time.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
La for hit for none all the time.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
La for hit for none all the time.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
La for hit for none all the time.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
La for hit for none all the time.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
By
the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
By
the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years.
By the grace of Allah, the Jamaat of Ghana is progressing day by day.
All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100 years. All praises be to Allah for a blessed centenary. All praises be to Allah for a successful 100
وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم